Authenticity is kind of a nebulous concept, especially when its importance has skyrocketed over the last 10 years with people online saying, oh, if you want to build something online, you have to be authentic. But what does that really mean? I feel like after being a teacher for 10 years, I have a little bit of insight into what being authentic really means. And the reason is because in my first year, after I finished my first year of teaching, I was pretty well liked among my students. And I would get comments like, well, Mr. Lam, your classes are so great. They're so interesting. I learned so much from them. I really like economics because of you. So I would get a lot of comments like that. But flash forward 10 years, I'm getting less of those comments. And now the comments that I'm getting that are compliments are comments like, wow, like you're such an interesting person. You have such an interesting worldview. I really like the stories that you tell. And you know what else has shifted over the last 10 years is the rise of Google, the rise of ChatGPT, the rise of AI, and like teaching as a profession, and you know, it's the same online and offline teaching, as a profession has moved from the teacher being like, here's what I know, and so you should be interested, versus nowadays, it's more about here's who I am. And who I am is what makes this conversation between you and me interesting. And so I want to talk about a few ways that I'm still learning to be more and more authentic in person and online as well. And I feel like that will have insight for you if you're in any role that requires constant communication, whether you're leading meetings, whether you're also an educator, whether you're a content creator, whether you're a coach, it does not matter. Authenticity makes a difference. It really does. And so the first way that I'm being more authentic is really not caring about what other people think. I mean, I used to rely on YouTube gurus who would tell me, go search up popular YouTubers and filter their videos by most popular because you know those ideas worked. Go make those videos and you'll pop off. And you know what? That could work to some extent, but if you do that for an extended period of time, you don't feel like it's you because it's not your ideas, it's not your experiences, it's not your stories. And so now I'm a lot more comfortable, and when I sit down and I think about like what are the things I want to talk about, I think to myself, well, what are the problems I'm dealing with right now and the insights that I'm getting from learning the solutions to those problems, or even an attempted solution to those problems. And then let's just share that, right? Let's not search externally for what is validating. Let's search internally. Let's see what I'm working on the inside, and let's share that. Because I'm sure if I'm working on something, then well, maybe someone else is also working on it. So that's really the first tip. And the second tip that kind of ties to that is YouTube is a very like algorithm driven platform, right? Like click-through rate, views. And you know, there are metrics to measure every single task you're doing, right? Like even teachers, like average improvement in test scores, right? You can come up with metrics for anything, right? Like close rates, sales. I'm not saying any of those things are unimportant. I'm just saying that in the communication sphere, yes, there are principles to adhere to, like, well, you want to tell more stories, or you want to be helpful, you want to provide value. I think those things are kind of timeless principles, but worrying about retention, like what am I saying this exact moment to make sure that you're paying attention? Boom. Oh, did I get your attention? Like stuff like that, and like editing, sound effects. I feel like all of those things are just what everyone else is doing. And looking at how many views I'm getting, what's the click-through rate that I'm getting, being so attached to results that I can't even control, not only is that stressful, but it kind of forces me to be inauthentic. It forces me to think to myself, okay, do I have the perfect hook in the first 5 to 7 seconds? Am I cutting every single second to maintain your attention? And you know what? It feels manipulative to me to do that, you know? And what is reassuring is there are channels where people just press record and they still get views. Why? Because they're sharing who they are and they're talking about themselves and how their experiences can help someone who is or was in a similar journey to themselves in the past. And so the notion that we are helping our past selves is very popular, is in some ways over-communicated, but no one really knows what that means, right? People think, oh, I'm helping my past self in the frame, in a box of a niche, whatever that is. And that kind of leads me to my third tip, which is I want people to come to this channel. I want to meet people because they're interested in who I am and not necessarily because of only what I have to say about a specific topic. I think people are multifaceted. I would classify myself as a multi-potentialite. I have an interest in so many different things, and there are so many things that I want to talk about, that I want to share, that I think is important to living a better life and being happier and making more money and having healthier relationships. Like, there are just so many things to share. I don't want to fit myself in a box. And the good news is the algorithm also doesn't want that these days, because it used to be that you would get content from whoever you followed, and you followed people largely because of the content that they put out and the topics that they're talking about. But nowadays, the algorithms are getting better and better at understanding what people are interested in. And so I can talk about relationships one day and how I have a healthy relationship with my wife and my son, and that could get pushed to people that care about that topic. And I can talk about personal finance another day and how I vehemently abhor options trading and day trading, and that will get pushed to other people on other days. And you know, I'm comfortable with that. And part of that has to do with not caring about the results. Part of that has to do with searching internally for validation of video ideas, what experiences, stories, lessons I can share. And you know, the most important thing I find that allows me to make these kinds of videos with you right now and talk to you like this right now, which is also the last tip that I want to go over, is the idea of letting go. It's letting go of the need or the desire for validation from other people, from the platform. That any of this that I'm doing would turn into sales or money or whatever. It's the idea that if this didn't matter, if this made no difference to my life whatsoever, if it didn't bring me any money and it didn't need it to bring me any money, how would I make the video? What would I say? What topics would I talk about? How would I say it? What attitude, that's important, what attitude would I bring to this passion for creating something worthwhile? And I feel like that's what I'm bringing here today. Like, that's the energy that I'm bringing here. And it makes me super happy and like I'm excited talking about it, because for the first time in a very long time, I can comfortably say that I am authentically me, because I'm putting things out that I care about, that hopefully some other people will resonate with, but that's not the first priority. The first priority is I've got an important question I'm asking, an important problem to me that I'm solving, and here's how I'm approaching it, and I hope at least one thing resonates. At least one thing is valuable, at least one thing is helpful. And if it doesn't help everyone, it doesn't matter, right? Because that's what being authentic is, right? And that's what being an artist is. And YouTube is an art and a science, but sometimes leaning more into the artist side of YouTube will allow you to look at a video and be okay with its imperfections, be okay with it not getting 1 million views. I mean, there was when I was in high school, there was a kind of a Japanese music creation program called Vocaloids, Hatsune Miku. I don't know if any of you know that. But a Vocaloid would have perfect pitch and perfect tuning, and all you have to do is kind of input the notes and how long each note would last, the word, the sound, and the Vocaloid will make a song largely popular in Japan and across the world. But it never got to me. And the reason was because imperfection is what makes, in some way, the human experience beautiful. Imperfection and vulnerability and the pauses, the silences, the ums and the ahs, the hesitations, the different tonalities, the different ways of articulating content. You looking like a clown when you're fixing your mistakes and you don't know what to say the next second. All of that is a part of who you are. And all of that makes this experience that you and I are having right now worthwhile. And all of that is a vote. Remember, what we do today is a vote towards the person we want to become in the future. And I am a huge believer of that. But what we're doing right now with being authentic is us practicing, what we are doing right now with us being authentic is us practicing being more comfortable in our own skins. In a sense, it's us practicing being okay with who we are. And it's not until you're okay with who you are that you can sit there and be like, you know what, like I'm facing the music. That is the truth, the reality of who I am. It's not until you do that, then you can identify areas of improvement. Like I have areas I want to improve, right? I want to be more articulate. I want to expand my vocabulary. I want to tell more stories. I want to learn how to tell stories and capture stories in my own life so I can make this experience more interesting for me and for you who is on the other side of this screen right now. I would be a fool to say that recording videos like this is the best type of video that I will ever create. I would be a fool to say that. But what I am saying is recording videos like this right now is putting me in a state of flow. It feels effortless to me and it feels good. Like talking to you like this feels good. And so I think leaning into authenticity is the future when Google and AI kind of has all the answers within our limited domain of knowledge that we need to know to function as a human being. And I think if you want to do anything successfully in the future, whether it's offline or online, you want people to follow you, buy from you, listen to you because of who you are and because of what you're saying. That's it. Have a great day and like and subscribe. As always, love you.